Hello and welcome to the Purpose Rwanda show with me, Irma Ihumuri, your host on KC2. What is my purpose? This is a question we often ask ourselves. I do believe that there is a purpose for all of us and that every human being has something unique to offer. I am excited today. We are going to discuss about a very important topic, a topic dear to my heart, understanding the purpose of your life. Our guest today is a remarkable leader, an award-winning individual. He is amazing, I promise you guys. For the past decade, he has been in the work of genocide prevention, the genocide against the Tutsi, and youth empowerment. He was one of the founders of PLP, Peace and Love Proclaimers, Youth for a Change, and he is the founder of I Debate Rwanda, the famous I Debate Rwanda. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome on the show Michel Habineza as our guest today. Welcome to the Purpose Rwanda show.
Thank you very much, Irma. I'm very excited to be here.
It's an honor to have you, and you are not easy to get.
My apologies. I'm always too busy doing a whole lot of things.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, but when I thought about purpose, you are the first person that came to my mind, because I was like, you have been doing a lot, and at a very young age. I know of PLP, I know of I Debate. Please tell me more. How did you start everything?
So, first of all, I'd like to say that I was very lucky in a sense that I feel like I found what makes my heart move. I think I found my purpose quite young. So a little bit before, just to give you context, is, grew up in a family where we didn't have a lot of issues. And then as you get older, and in my teen years, one of the questions that I asked myself, it's like, what am I doing with my life? I'm supposed to have, I've seen the good life, but there's something that was missing. And I read a book by Rick Warren called Purpose Driven Life. And I read it in 2 days. You're supposed to read it in 40 days. I read it in 2 days. And then from there, it's like, I want my life to matter. I want to make a difference with my life. I want that when all is said and done, you say, well done, good and faithful servant. So from there, I met with a few friends, and we were passionate about many things. And we said, what if we start a youth organization? And then we were all 19, so I was 19 years old.
Wow.
And so we started PLP. Honestly, when I think of it, it was like there was just sheer passion and nothing else. And so we started when we were 19. We're a group of about 7 people.
Yeah.
And I was the first president, and just setting up the organization, not knowing what I'm doing, but just learning. But it gave me a deep sense of purpose and a deep sense of passion, feeling like I'm doing something that matters and I'm making a difference. And like we say, that was about 14 years ago. Time just flies. But yeah, so it was 14 years ago. And then about 9 years ago, I also started I Debate, which I think was a sequence to that. But that was honestly like it was just us looking for, something to do that is meaningful.
Yeah, so for me, I'm curious to know, how did you, you were young, you were a teenager, how did you see it, and was there any moment, was there anything that happened to you to make you feel like, I want more, I really want my life to matter? Yeah. You had a special encounter, you heard, was it the book only?
No, it was a series of different things, I'll tell you. I mean, there was the book, there was also a fact that I had just become a Christian, and one of the things I said, it's like, I don't want to be those boring Christians. I really want to be the ones that, when the Bible talks about what you do unto the least of these, you have done unto me.
Right.
And then also there was a series where I had made friends with some street kids, and they opened my eyes to a reality that I didn't know. I lived in Nyarutarama. I went to school in Green Hills. My world was very small.
Yes.
And in my world, I had everything that, that we're coming from pretty well-off family. But then there it was, when they opened my eyes, I saw well, all of that is meaningless. Like, you know, the pursuit of things, the pursuit of pleasures, and the pursuit of all of that, for me, it was meaningless. And then all of a sudden, it's like, well, what if I did something meaningful for these kids? And when I met them, honestly, it changed my life. And we paid for, in the first years of PLP, we paid for their schooling, and they started school. And nothing makes me happier than now, you know, all of them are finished school. Some of them have kids and they're married. So it was just a series of different things that were happening all at the same time that just birthed all of this.
Wow. So we're talking about understanding the purpose of your life. I want to know your definition of purpose. How do you define purpose?
It's the why of our existence, is why are we here? Everyone asks themselves that question, because what purpose is there's something about you, your history, your talents, your background, all of it that converges towards a mission that only you can accomplish.
Wow.
And I think that's what purpose is it's God, in my opinion, God taking all the threads in your life and weaving them together to create something that is meaningful and changes other people's lives. And purpose is not a career, right? It's not, people say, my purpose is to be rich. No, that's not. A purpose is always connected towards a service that you do to humanity. So it is the why of our existence, and it's also the bringing together of all of who we are to serve a certain mission.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. I am already inspired. We are here on the show, the Purpose Rwanda show. I am in a conversation, a very interesting conversation, if you just joined us. I am with Michel, Habineza, and we are talking about understanding the purpose of your life. So there's a famous quote, I don't know exactly who said that, because in most cases they write unknown, that says there are the two most important days in your life. It is the day that you were born and the day that you know why. And you just say that the purpose of our life is the why of your life.
Yeah.
So I want to know, do I wake up one morning and I'll be like, this is the why of my life? Or do I go through a process? Should I sit somewhere and be like, I will wait until I discover the why of my life? So if I haven't discovered the why of my life, I would just do anything, or I would do nothing, you know.
Yeah.
So tell me, how can you guide someone to reach to that point of discovering the purpose of their lives?
Well, I think that one of the things that most people do is, you know, they're like, everyone is like, well, I'm just trying to wait for the purpose of my life, and as if it's going to be revealed. But the reality is that it is only through looking backwards that you see a thread, that you see some sort of sequence that shows you a little bit more on, you know, the seasons and threads of your life, right? So it is, and I think it was Steve Jobs that says, you know, that it's only by looking backwards that it makes sense. And some of it has to do with, you know, a mixture of your talent, your history, where you were born, the time you were born. All of that is, you know, a thread. And the reality is it's slowly, it's almost like wearing glasses and focusing. So it starts blurry, but then as you go with time, it starts making sense. As you go with time, it starts making sense. And one of the ways is just being faithful with what's in front of you. What can I do right now that sometimes doesn't make sense? Like, what can I do right now? And then in the next few years, that will make more sense. But it's about being faithful to the present and doing what we see in front. And then through that, you're going to start seeing a pattern. You're going to see a pattern. And the other thing too is ask your friends. Always say, ask your friends a question of what has always been true about me, right? Because sometimes we don't see ourselves, but it is those who are closest to us, who love us, who can tell us and say, well, actually, this is where I think you do this amazingly. Because think about it, the things that you do well, you're not conscious of it because it's natural, it's a gift, right? And it's hard for you to see it because you just do it naturally and you assume everyone does it naturally. But it is through the talking with your friends and then also just doing what is in front of you then it's almost like you find purpose by walking in it, which doesn't make sense. But you walk, and as you walk, things become clearer. And some of us, we get lucky, we find it early.
Yeah.
Others, it takes time, and
Yeah.
but none of it. If you're faithful to the process, it's none of our experiences are a waste.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. That's amazing. There's something powerful you just said about being faithful to the present, about excelling and doing right, like what you have in front of you. And as you are excelling in what you're doing right now, at the moment, at the present moment, being fully present of everything you have right now, like cherishing the gift that you have. And as you move forward, you will discover, you will see more. That's just amazing.
Yeah, and
So-
it's just the truth, because
Wow.
I'll give you a simple example of
Yes.
In PLP. PLP is known for walk to remember, but what most people don't know is that the first walk didn't happen. Why?
Wow.
Because we didn't know what we were doing, and part of it was every year it used to grow. Like the first time we did it, we had about 2,000 people. But the last time that we did, I think the last, let's say 2014, we had more than 50,000 people in 25 countries, right? And all of that, people would see that, they would see you're able to bring this many people. But very few would know how many years it takes to actually build that, how many years it takes to build the personality, build the character, build the things that are done in the darkness. That no one never really sees. And I think sometimes we might think that purpose is only that part, like the beautiful part.
Like the beautiful part, the
yeah,
shining
the
part.
shining part. But
Yeah.
honestly, the purpose is the things that you do when no one is watching.
In secret,
In
like the
secret.
dust,
Yep.
all the ingredients
And
you have to
putting
add,
all of that.
all of that, and it's gonna birth purpose.
Yep.
What I understand by what you're saying is that purpose is revealed in phases.
Yes.
As you said, it
Yes.
starts, blurry. It's like, deep down, there is something greater. I am called for something big, but I don't know exactly what it is. And you start looking inside of your heart and you observe your gifts. You locate your passion, what moves you. And as you keep on moving forward, that's how you will see, wow, I was born for this.
Yes, and the reality is, I'll tell you, it's a lot of people see all of that outside work, but very few people are able to see the building that you do in the dark. I'll tell you one thing. For about 10 years, I never watched TV.
Wow.
Never watched TV.
Wow.
I was busy. I was studying.
Wow.
I would wake up at 3 in the morning and I would study and I would read as much as I can.
Wow.
Because part of it was, if God is going to use me and do amazing things, then I have to cultivate. I have to study. I have to know
You have to
my
prepare
stuff.
yourself.
I have to prepare. And then now, years later, someone sees you and they're like, wow, this is amazing, this thought that you've just given. Well, this is a book that I read 10 years ago. This is a book that I read 9 years ago.
Wow.
So a lot of people sometimes want that shiny part, but no one knows, with that, with understanding that your life has a purpose, it also means if my life has a purpose, there's certain things I can't do. There's certain things I can't do, and there's certain things that I must do. And it's hard. It's hard. I think the finding of purpose is easier than actually walking in purpose, because walking in it has a level of sacrifice that people have to do. People might say, "Oh wow, I love this," and they love the fruit, but they don't love the seed. They don't love the
seed. They don't love the cultivation.
It's like I was not like I usually tell guys I was the dumbest teenager that I know. I was too cool to do anything. But it was like the moment that I discovered that my life could make a difference, I just said I have to be serious about cultivating.
Put in the work.
Exactly.
But most times we don't like to put in the work. Like most times we don't want to get our hands dirty. We don't like the word sacrifice, because sacrifice means pain. And I think somehow, as you walk through your purpose, you really have to embrace the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in the Bible there's a part where King David says something that I always say, that I may not give to the King that which cost me nothing.
Wow.
Right? And for me, it has always been that.
Wow.
Like, it means that sacrifice means that it has to pain, but it's pain in the birthing process. Like,
wow.
you're birthing something. And when I look, I'll tell you the truth, I look at my life back now and I see a lot of things that we sacrificed for, and I'm like, wow, it was like I had it was worth it.
It was worth it.
And I had no idea. Like, I wish I could say, oh, we were smart. No, no, not at all. It was just, we're being faithful, you know,
yes.
and we were being faithful, and it birthed something that I think that's the biggest gift that God can give you, is for you to be able to see some of the things that He put in you that you had no idea, and then when He comes alive, you're like, wow, you know, I never thought that, and it's amazing.
They're just beautiful. So I want to know, like, do you make any mistakes? Like, when you look back, do you have any regret? Did you make any mistake, like, on the way finding your purpose?
A lot of mistakes, a lot of mistakes, and I think the good thing about a lot of those mistakes is that they humble you. You know, they humble you. It makes you see that you're not the master. You're not, you know. I always think one of my favorite songs is Lecrae's song called Background, and it says that, you know, sometimes I'm scared of taking control because I know I'll do mistakes, but part of it is learning how to forgive yourself and ask for forgiveness. But it's also that, but it's also some good mistakes though. Mistakes that make you stumble into something, right? You do something like I remember the first walk. It was supposed to happen, and then on maybe I think the day, like a week before, usually go for a meeting, and they're like, "So have you done this?" So, no. They're like, "Do you have the permission?" No. Do you have you done advertisement? No. And they're like, "What have you done?" I'm like, "I don't even know. Like, what am I supposed?" But it's the path of, I used to say, we're trailblazers. Like, we create path.
Wow.
And when you create path, you were born to do mistakes. But again, to tell you how much purpose is so tied to who you are as a person, I always usually tell people, it's like, because I was so dumb in high school and in secondary, because I was so dumb, when I do mistakes, I'm like, but anyway, you're dumb, you know?
Just so to encourage yourself.
No, it's also, you know, being able to say, well, you know, like it's, for me, it's when the good things happen, I'm surprised, you know, it's like, hey, what happened? You know, but when other things happen, I'm like, I've learned, and part of it again is to see the process.
Yes.
Is because I was so used to doing badly in class, I never take any failure to heart. I never think that failure defines me as a person. I had to figure out, how do I build an identity of myself that is outside of my performance. And that has given me the room to be able to risk some things, because I know whether it happens or not, it says nothing about me. Right? It says nothing about me, who I am as a person. And again, it's just that process that allows you to learn how to navigate and accept it. And the difference between a seasoned person and someone who has been in this work for long and a younger person is, a seasoned persons understand that it is part of the work, that you do mistakes, but as long as you learn them, and then as long as you are also honest and say, I did wrong when I did wrong. And
yeah, that's just beautiful, and it's so inspiring, at least for myself. I hope you all are inspired by this conversation. So I would like to ask you to share with us a message on your heart. Here is somebody, a young girl or a young man, or even elderly people who might be watching us, and they're just asking themselves, I don't know how I can find my purpose. How can I live a purposeful life? How can I discover the why of my life? Please talk to them, how to get there.
So I would say that the most interesting thing is when you study all the religious systems in the world, that we have, especially in Christianity, I think it's what we call the reversed logic of life. And what that means is that you only find yourself by losing yourself, that you only serve people by like dying to yourself and serving many, right? Who's the leader is one who sacrifices more than others. So if we are to look for purpose, I think makes the biggest difference. Like in a book called Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Franklin, I think, Frankl, he says that when man has purpose, he can endure anything.
Wow.
And what that means is that once you have found the why of your life, everything else makes sense. And I think that the best way to find it is, first of all, by looking, asking your friends, and then also being faithful in the process.
Yes.
And it is as if, again, it's a blurry picture that becomes clearer as you go with time. But I think that you should pursue and find it. And for those who are religious, is ask your Creator. And for those who ask your friends, ask your family, and then be faithful. Your purpose is always tied to a mission, and that mission has to do something good for humanity. And start where you are, do good, help one person or two people, and we want the big, gigantic things, but it's the small things that lead to the big things.
Wow.
So it's do the small things, help those that you can, and then with that, if you're faithful, with time, it becomes clearer and clearer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As we close our conversation, do you have anything you want to say concerning IDBET Rwanda or PLP? Do you have anything new coming up?
Yeah.
What should we expect?
Some really exciting things. iDebate, we are finally going to do a national program. So
Wow.
we have been working with 35 schools in Kigali and a few other from outside. But starting there, we are going to be in 115 schools.
Wow.
And I would say again, we are definitely building world-class debaters, world-class thinkers.
Wow.
And I'm excited. And anyone who wants to, see what we do, watch us on YouTube, on our website. I'm sure you would see how if we invest in the young people, they can do amazing things.
That's so true.
And,
They are the future.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that they're the future, and if we invest in them, we can see tremendous stuff. And I'm excited for what's coming. And watch the space, like they say. A lot of great things are coming.
Wow, that's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to an end finally of our conversation with Jean-Michel Habineza, the founder of IDBET Rwanda and the co-founder of PLP. We had a good time. We discussed about purpose, and I believe you were touched or you learned something out of this conversation. A purpose is revealed in phases. Be faithful where you are, stay true to the process, and for sure you will get there, and something beautiful will come out of your life. You are special, you are amazing, you were made uniquely by your Creator. It was beautiful, the conversation was amazing. I want to thank our guest, Jean-Michel Habineza, for being with us today. It was just beautiful to have this conversation about understanding the purpose of your life. We are about to watch young people declaring their purposes. Ganza Dixon had time to approach the purposeful agents of transformation, and he had some time with them, asking them about their purposes. Let's watch.
My name is Baron. This is Papa Sewing, and this segment we get to meet purposeful agents of transformation declaring their purposes, their life goals, basically the purposes, what they want to do for their communities, what they want to do for their countries. And this evening I'm privileged to meet a beautiful girl, and she's our guest for tonight, and I want her to introduce herself.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you can introduce yourself.
My name is Jean Moimondo, and many know me on Mimi, and I am a student in year 1 at African Leadership University.
What do you do at
Computer
university?
science.
Computer science.
Yeah, but for year 1 we start with leadership core.
And you're still in year 1?
Yes.
So you're still
Leadership core.
in the leadership?
Yeah.
Okay, so what have you been up to these days? What have you been doing?
Uh, I have a project I'm working on called The Reflection. It's a big project which has different social media platforms. I have a website, YouTube, where I post different content to show people, to bring that optimistic in their lives. Yeah.
So this is a purpose declaration. So should we call that your purpose?
Yes, because what I do is what I think I'm created to do. Exactly, that's how I am. My talents, my passion is about empowering people. So my purpose is to empower people to come up with hope of life in order to discover their lives, to discover their purposes, to discover who they were born to be.
Okay, you said something about a YouTube and a website. So that is your medium of communication to the people. So what is your YouTube account? What is this website? What do we expect to find there?
On YouTube, my name on YouTube is called Insight with Mimi. I put videos concerning the backgrounds. People have different backgrounds. For example, there are those who faced people who raped them when they were young, 5 years or 2 years. Others found their parents were not there for them. They got different hurts in background. So on YouTube, I use those backgrounds to give people hope.
Your goal here is to inspire people. And you yourself as Mimi, where do you get this inspiration?
I have faced this. I have faced anxiety or something like pressure. Pressure from the community, pressure from family, pressure from different people. And the time I discovered that this was pressure, this was not me. They were making me to pretend. I came up with this idea why people can pretend and live a whole fake life, live pretending. This life is really hard for them. Why can't I, if I have discovered this and I have challenged this, I have overcome this fear, why can't I help other people?
What are some of the challenges you're facing throughout this movement with what you're doing with your declaration? Because with you, you've already started a little bit, and the possible challenges you're facing.
Challenges so far are about people are not open on these social media platforms to say their problems, because when I'm talking on videos or content I post on my website, I always close up saying, you have to tell me your problem, what you are facing, if you want help. So people are not getting that. That's the first challenge. Another thing is audience. Not much audience on these websites or YouTube, because when you are a starter, of course, there are those friends of yours, close people. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mimi.
Thank you very much.
It has been wonderful having you speak to us and declare that Papa, they're waiting to see it come to pass and get bigger. Yeah, that was Mimi declaring her purpose, and it has been reflection. That is her purpose. She's using powerful terms, reflection, insight, but her goal is to inspire people to be exactly who they are, not to live fake lives, not to live by others. I've been your co-host, Baron Dixon. Keep logged in, KC2, La Puvu. We'll go back to Ilma.
Wow, wow, wow. Honestly, I am enjoying these young people declaring their purposes, talking about their reason of being, their reason of existence. I'm looking forward to setting a date with you every Saturday, 7 p.m. on KC2. Please tune in, please. Things are being discussed here. We are having genuine conversations. We are being educated. We are being healed. We are just transforming lives here on the Purpose Rwanda show with me, Irma Ihumure, your host. Thank you very much and see you next time.